Coming up in the news, hospitalizations due to COVID-19 on the rise in Grand Bahama. Also, we have an update on the Grand Bahama International Airport. And business owners are welcoming Solomon's move downtown. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Will-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, COVID-19 numbers on Grand Bahama in the double digits over the past few days, while hospital numbers continue to climb. But the head of the Grand Bahama Task Force team says he does not believe the increase is due to the holiday celebrations. Tonight, he shares the concerns surrounding the hospitalizations on Grand Bahama as he warns members of the public to take this seriously. According to Dr. Frank Bartlett, head of the COVID-19 Grand Bahama Task Force, we are in a fourth surge. And as COVID numbers continue to climb, so are the hospitalization numbers.
The number of cases has risen to quite a worrisome number. Okay, now we peaked at 28 cases or 28 hospitalizations that would have been 2 days ago. We're now, as it stands today, at 26 hospitalizations.
But he says they are managing these numbers as best as they can. And while the medical team is placed in an uncomfortable position, they are handling the challenges. Dr. Bartlett adds that at this point, the heads of the department are meeting on a daily basis.
We do have a significant amount of disease in our community. And this is no time for celebration. This is no time for talking about events. Right now, when you look at what's happening globally, people are speaking about the fourth surge.
When it comes to the breakdown of the hospitalized cases, the majority are the unvaccinated, then persons who have received one dose, and the minority, persons who have had both doses. But here's what he says is important.
Now, the important point, because you're going to have detractors basically stating that, so if they get the vaccine, they still get an infection, then why do we get the vaccine? First and foremost, you have to be able to understand that when you're looking at vaccinations, the goal of the vaccination is to prevent illnesses from whatever disease you're trying to vaccinate against. It does not prevent the infection.
Dr. Bartlett admits that the rising case numbers are concerning.
We try to be aggressive and clamp down because a lot of times the only resource we have outside of the medical care that we provide is basically putting in preventative measures. And, they work also. But the whole thing is that we need to have the cooperation of the people to do that.
And here's which age group is being affected.
The persons between 40 to 60 in our vaccination campaign, the 70-year-olds and the older persons, they came out in force. We're not seeing very many of those persons being hospitalized at all. Our challenges are between the ages of 40 and 60, and then we have a few outliers in the 30s that are having challenges.
Now, when asked if this could potentially lead to tighter restrictions and lockdowns on Grand Bahama, Bartlett made it clear that this decision has to be made by the competent authority. In other news, educational officials stating that vaccination for students in the public system will not be mandatory as part of the enrollment process for the upcoming school year. But as for private schools, the decisions is entirely up to the institutions. Well, our Ramiko Knoll stopped by several private schools on Grand Bahama to hear their plans.
Private institutions following in the footsteps of the competent authority as it relates to teachers and students being vaccinated ahead of the new school year. Administrator of Tabernacle Baptist Norris Bain says although he has taken the jab, they will continue to leave the option open to teachers and parents of their school.
Well, we're not going to be forcing teachers or students to be vaccinated either. I mean, I've been vaccinated. I've taken my first dose of the Pfizer shot, and in a couple of weeks I'm going to take the second one. My wife, who's the principal here, has also taken her shots. Our pastor's taking his shots. Deacons, everybody else around here is taking it. But we're leaving it up to the individuals and the parents as it relates to their children. But I'm not discouraging anyone who wants to go ahead and take it, and we're not going to put any pressure on anyone to take it.
Vice Principal of Bishop Michael Eldon Primary School, Miriam Carroll, says as an organization it would be good to know who are vaccinated among them in the event of an emergency. She says while taking the jab won't be mandatory, they are encouraging their teachers to take it.
We are encouraging it, and we are leading by example, because the administrative staff, the entire staff is vaccinated. So we are trying to lead by example, and we are encouraging. And as a matter of fact, a good number of our teachers are vaccinated. And so we try every day to encourage others to become vaccinated, because they're dealing with parents and children on a daily basis. And of course, that makes you very vulnerable because you are considered frontline.
Now, over at the high school, Principal Cheryl Wood says the administrative staff members are taking the initiative to become vaccinated.
There are quite a few of them have gone out, and also the ancillary staff members as well. They have gone out of their own volition to become vaccinated because they understand the ramifications of working in a school setting where you come into contact with children and other persons who are a part of the school system. But as I said, it's not our position to make it mandatory, but we're certainly strongly urging it.
And whether or not these institutions will take additional measures to keep safe during the school year, they say
we're going to continue with the mask wearing, and we're going to continue with sanitizing. As you can see, we'll continue with this straight through until the all clear is given. Continue to encourage students to social distance, but we're not going to put any, outside of those restrictions, we're not going to put any pressure on people.
Well, of course, we have to follow, we're mandated to follow the guidelines with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health, and so that will continue, to be enforced.
We don't have any new policies, but we will certainly tweak what has already been followed, what we have been doing in the past. So we will be observing all of those protocols that are already in place, and if we have to improve upon them, we will do so.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
In other news, Grand Bahamas City Center is expected to receive a major boost next year in March, as AML is in the process of opening a store in the downtown area. Tonight, business owners say this addition could signal an economic turnaround. Italia Hall reports.
The $3.5 million investment will be located downtown in the old Winn-Dixie building and is expected to bring about a major transformation to the downtown area. The new 20,000 square foot store will feature a Solomon's neighborhood format and is projected to be the catalyst to bring back the glory days in the once bustling city center. John West Shoe Store, located downtown, has been in operation for some 42 years. Owner Wes Ford says he's looking forward to the new investment.
Freeport has undergone a lot of changes, and a lot of the changes have not been so good, especially with all the hurricanes and now the pandemic and whatnot. But it was prior to all of that we lost Winn-Dixie. Pantry Pride, then Winn-Dixie, and every time you hear that somebody's gonna go in there and do something with it, you get all excited again, because it means business for the area. It means foot traffic, like I think one of the MPs mentioned on camera just the other day. I think it's going to do a lot for us.
These business owners say they believe the move by AML Foods will deliver a boost to their business.
We need some changes, and I think it's great. We need to see changes in the area. So I'm sure you will see an increase in volume financially wise and customers coming in. It'll be great.
We've been here for about several years, more maybe. I think that it's awesome that they're going to be in town, because that brings more customers our way. Some people come for grocery, but they see a store open and they say, oh, maybe I can go in here and pick up some shoes, try a new outfit, and so on and so forth. It just brings more attraction to the other little stores. We're trying to make it in here in downtown, so yeah, we're excited about that.
Over at Somewhere Sports Bar, owner Adam Campbell says he's confident that the food store will increase business for all in the area, and says this move was long overdue.
That hurricane the other day, and downtown had 4 foot of water, so Freeport needs something. Freeport needs something bad. So give thanks for Solomon's for trying to help out downtown.
Now the Solomon's location downtown Freeport is expected to be complete in March of next year. As for the Solomon's original location on Queens Highway, that property is now on the market for sale. It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, the Grand Bahama International Airport is now officially in the hands of the government and the Airport Authority. Minister of State for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, says changes are already unfolding as additional space was created recently and is now accommodating travelers.
Have more space at immigration, there's more space at customs, and so there's a brand new building that has been completed now that will take those international arrivals there. However, the government also is working on the long-term plan. So we've already hired the consultants, and those consultants are hard at work now in preparing the agreement documents to attract those persons who want to partner with the government to build, fund, and develop a brand new Grand Bahama International Airport.
Now, he says a meeting was held with potential partners, adding that the Airport Authority was discussing plans with the prospective partners who were able to ask questions as well.
We are moving ahead with those development plans. We are moving ahead with attracting the right partner to help us in funding, help us in managing, help us in designing that new airport.
The government has entered into an agreement with Harcourt Development for 2 acres of land at the former Princess and Royal Oasis property. The Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, the Honorable Iram Lewis, and Minister of State for Finance, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, making the announcement over the weekend.
We all approached the Harcourt, who are the owners of the entire property, and we were successful in getting Harcourt to agree to lease a portion of the property, and they are going to lease a portion of the property, I believe, for $10, and it is for obviously a nominal amount, and so it is leasing it really at no cost to the government, but it is now available for the public.
And this is a portion of it, and the areas that we cannot see right now is almost like the nature center, where we have the water feature, we have the fish, and we have the turtles, and of course there's a bird and almost a natural butterfly sanctuary in the back. So we will expand and we'll clean up the entire 2 acres that is presently being leased to us.
Representative of Harcourt Development, Rudy Meadows, and Committee Chairperson of the Our Garden Farmers Market Fest, Judith Dawkins, thanking government officials for their efforts.
It's a beautiful place. As the minister said, there's a lot of memories in here. I have one myself. I think my wife and I were the first ones to have wedding pictures taken on the bridge in the garden. So take advantage of it.
It's a wonderful opportunity to see the vendors out, and they're so pleased that they're making a few dollars. It's a great boost to the economy, and we are hoping to have the Farmers Market Fest on a monthly basis, and so we want the community to come out and support.
Now, as for the other areas of the former Princess Royal Oasis property, Minister Lewis confirming that it is not included in the lease agreement. And he says their focus is now on the 2 acres of property which will be used as a green space. But he adds that as the opportunity develops, the government will take full advantage. And tonight, as we continue to highlight sporting greats 48 years after independence, in this report, Jay Philippe talks to a man who represented the Bahamas at the Olympics. And he says that was an experience of a lifetime.
Born on the 16th of July 1955, Fletcher Lewis is a Bahamian former long jumper who competed in the 1976 Summer Olympics in Montreal, Canada. But it all started at St. Vincent de Paul in Hunters, where Lewis competed as a youngster. He then moved to New Providence, where he attended St. Augustine's College, where he blossomed into an elite multi-sport athlete.
Back then, there were no high schools on Grand Bahama that we were able to go to just like that. I lived in a boarding school for 5 years, and because of that living environment, my athletic skills in other sports started to come forward. After lunch, we went and played softball, we went and played soccer, we went and high jump and long jump every day. That's on the weekend, because during the weekdays, you were in school.
Believe it or not, Lewis was able to obtain a basketball scholarship where he eventually won Conference Player of the Year and Team MVP. With those accolades, he could have attended any university in the Midwest region for basketball, but that's when the unexpected happened.
I was about to sign to go to Iowa State for track and field, because I came off the basketball court and went and won the junior college indoors long jump championship. Not one meet under my belt, won it. Eventually, I went to the Kansas Relays, where I wasn't able to do anything because of the weather. Went to the Wichita Relays, which I won. And he went, 25 feet for the first time. And was on my way to Iowa State when Coach Jimmy Carnes, the University of Florida coach, called and said, "We have one more scholarship left, and it's mine if I want it."
The dual sport athlete then set a new school record of 26 feet, 1.5 inch in long jump at the University of Florida that lasted for 18 years.
Won the Florida Relays, qualified for the Olympics, and went to the Olympics and became a finalist, but because of a slight injury to my hamstring, wasn't able to compete at my best.
The former Bahamas national record holder in long jump shares that representing the Bahamas in track and field was an experience of a lifetime.
I competed for the Bahamas at the Pan Am Games, but coming off surgery, all these scars and stuff you see was a part of that. But I went and competed and didn't do my best. And then I came for the national team, where I set the Bahamas record in 1976 of 26.4.5, and on my way to the Olympics in Montreal.
From the back road of Hunters to Gainesville, Florida, home of the Florida Gators, as we continue to celebrate 48 years of independence, we salute Fletcher J. Lewis, a trailblazer in the community of Grand Bahama, for the impact he has had in sports. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. We'll be back right after that.